Chapter 2, Jeffrey's Moatmeal Accident. If I live to be 179, I will never forget October 7th of this year. Oh, I'll try. I've been trying already. But I will never be able to throw off the weight of this particular day. The weird thing is, the day started off great. I recall that I woke up early, and for some reason, I couldn't go back to sleep. So I got out of bed, tiptoed to the bathroom, peed, did my usual slow motion ninja walk to get down our squeaky stairs without waking up the rents or Jeffrey. I stopped in the kitchen to suck down some OJ and then continued my silent journey to the basement. My dad has a separate little office down there. He's an accountant, and because during tax season he works late, it was soundproofed and has extra insulation for warmth. I figured I'd get some practice on the pad before school, so I set myself up in the office. I started to work my way through my usual warm-up routines. 5 minutes of single stroke rolls, left, right, left, right, left. 5 minutes of double stroke rolls, right, right, left, left. Then 5 minutes of paradiddles. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. My hands were feeling particularly loose, and somehow it was nice being up before anyone else doing my own thing, which of course meant that Jeffrey was bound to find me. Steven! Yarg! You almost gave me a heart attack, you little madman. This made him giggle hysterically, and as it always does when I pretend he snuck up on me, but this time he really had snuck up on me. My drumming concentration can be pretty fierce. Steven, I don't feel good. Lately, Jeffrey had been complaining a lot that his parts hurt, which we hadn't understood too well. I thought it was just another one of those little kid things. Like the summer he turned 3, convinced himself that he slept with his eyes open. I spent weeks trying to convince him that he slept with his eyes closed, just like everyone else on the planet. I finally videotaped about 15 minutes of him sleeping, which I thought would settle the issue. When I played the tape back for him, though, he insisted, of course my eyes close sometimes when I sleep. That's what we call a slow blink. So you can see why nobody was running outside to flag down an ambulance when this kid's parts hurt. So what do you want me to do? Can you make me some moatmeal? Some oatmeal? Right, some moatmeal. Jeff, give me a break. I'm practicing here. But I'm cold. I need moatmeal to warm up my parts. I could see this. I wasn't going to get out of this without a fight. And I'm a pretty big oatmeal fan myself, to tell you the truth. However, I couldn't resist teasing Jeffrey for a little while, so I said, cream of wheat, moatmeal. Cream of wheat, moatmeal. Cream of wheat, moatmeal. Okay, you don't have to call the National Guard. I'll make you some oatmeal. Yay, oatmeal! Up in the kitchen, I sat Jeffrey on the bar stool so he could help by mixing the oatmeal with the water before I nuked it. My mom always tells me not to leave Jeffrey up on the high stools without me standing right next to him, but she's ridiculously overprotective. If she had her way, he'd be wearing body armor to kindergarten anyway. He was babbling away about our special moatmeal treat would refix his parts. When I turned away for a second to get a wooden spoon, I heard a swish and a crack and a thump and a little whimper. When I looked back, I realized that Jeffrey must have slipped off the stool, banged his face on the counter. He looked up at me from the floor for that miserable little kids always take before they for that little kids take before the wailing starts. I saw a drop of blood under his nose. Then 2 things happened at once. He started to scream like a banshee, and the drop of blood turned into a torrent. I grabbed a hand towel off the refrigerator handle and held it to Jeffrey's nose. He looked up, terrified in a way. I hadn't seen him before, and he was still screaming. I find myself pulling him onto my lap, saying things to him over and over, like, hush, Jeffy. I never call him that unless he's upset. It's okay. You're all right. When this didn't stop his wailing, I knew the rents were about to come flying into the room any minute. I started to get a bit impatient. Come on, Jeffrey. It's a little nosebleed, that's all. You've had a million nosebleeds before, right? No, I've had 2 nosebleeds before. The time you let me skateboard and, okay, 2 nosebleeds, but nosebleeds go away, Jeffrey. You're fine. Now stop shouting before Mom and Dad. Steven, what have you done to your brother? Don't. Too late. Nothing, Mom. I was making him breakfast and he fell off his stool. He just fell off? There was no pushing? No. No shoving, Stephen? No. Did you drop him, Stephen? No. Was this one of your wrestling moves, Jeffrey? Finally, my parents were getting past the interrogation phase and dealing with the injured child, who, by the way, was still receiving first aid from his heroic wronged brother. No, Mom. Did you really just fall, Jeffrey? Why does everyone in my family talk in these dramatic capital letters all the time? Why am I the only calm one? You know what, Mom? I body slammed him, okay? I decided it would be really fun to set a 5-year-old on a bar stool at 6:42 a.m., take a running leap and slam him down like we were trying out for the WWF. It worked great, too. Son, you don't be defensive with your mother. Defensive, Dad? Defensive? Now they had me sinking to their capital letter level. Yes, defensive. And fresh. Thanks for chiming in, Mom. This could have gone on for months, even years. In an unending round of guilt trip ping pong, except Jeffrey stopped us in our tracks. Mommy, it hurts. This came out muffled, and we must have looked confused. So Jeffrey pushed my hand with the towel out of the way. Another one of those frozen moments that will always happen to me. We looked at the towel and Jeffrey's nose in the front of my pajama shirt, and there was an unbelievable amount of blood. Oh, God, Jeffy. Oh, my God. Get my shoes, Stephen. I'm taking your brother to the emergency room. I've never seen my mom take one of our injuries so seriously. Honey, do you want me to go with Dad? No, take this one to school. Great. For the crime of attempted breakfast making, I got demoted from beloved firstborn to this one. So my mom grabbed Jeffrey off my lap, put another towel to his face, this one with ice wrapped in it, somehow got her shoes, his winter coat, her jacket, keys, her cell phone, and her purse. And almost got to the front door before Jeffrey had time to say, Beepy, get your brother his blanket, Stephen. For once, I went to get my brother something without saying a word about it. When I gave it to him, my mom opened the door, the one last long look at his frightened face over my mother's shoulder, and she started down the driveway toward the car. I had this weird feeling that my brother was getting smaller and smaller. My dad closed the door and I got ready for school. Dad, is he? I'm sure he'll be fine. Stephen, noses bleed a lot. Go. Then, when I looked at the kitchen clock, I realized that it was already 7:09. We had to be out the door in 11 minutes. So I went upstairs, tossed my bloody PJs into the bathroom sink, took the world's fastest shower, combed my hair into some kind of shape, curled myself into jeans and a Sum 41 t-shirt. By 7:14, I was at the door. Dad, I'm ready. My dad appeared with his attaché case I brought him for Christmas 2 years ago. Guess what, Dad? It's a real accountant briefcase with a real pocket for a calculator, and got into his coat without a word. Dad, are you okay? I never particularly noticed my dad's mood, but he was looking kind of pale and tense. I glanced over at the kitchen and noticed that he had cleaned up Jeffrey's blood from the floor, which couldn't have been fun. Fine, come on. Great. Now a ride to school with Caveman Dad. In car, things were 100% silent until I couldn't stand it anymore. I put the radio on WZZO, the rock station, and started playing drums on my legs, along with the Rush song that was on. My dad reached out and turned off the radio, which was unusual for him. Even though my mom was always my biggest drum fan, my dad had at least succeeded in tuning my tapping out. He called it pounding. And my teacher referred to it as banging on hundreds of car rides before this one. Sorry, Stephen. He said with a weak little I'm sorry smile. I need to concentrate on the road right now. Another few minutes of that weird, we're ignoring the topic, silence brought us to school. Before I got out of that car, I turned toward my dad for one more bit of whatever comfort he could give. Dad, is he? I told you, Stephen, noses bleed a lot. Noses just bleed a lot. Now get going. When I got to my locker, Renee Albert said hi to me from about a foot away. Her locker has always been next to mine, and I realized I hadn't brushed my teeth. Perfect.